like you lost another one.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 3 of the Wrestling Revival podcast. Of course, I am DJ Notorious, and that guy over there, that is Mr. Cyber Yeti. Of course, the Yankee and the Astro is back in the building for another Wednesday night. I know. We got a lot to talk about.
After sweeping the Boston Red Sox, I'm just saying. After sweeping the Red Sox, it's going to be an interesting September. That's all I got to say.
You see what I have to deal with here on a daily basis here on this show. But nonetheless, we got a lot to talk about that's not dealing with the team on the field in Houston. We got to talk about a big weekend of pay-per-views coming up on the show. AEW did it last weekend. They are now going to be doing it again this weekend. So we'll talk about what's going on with them. Seems like their pay-per-view is slowly being put together, especially after Dynamite tonight. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to give you a recap of what took place in good old Wembley Stadium this past Sunday afternoon here in the States, all in 2023. But let's get some things out of the way first. Make sure not only are you liking, subscribing, and following us all over social media, but you're picking up that merch as well. Definitely pick up the merch here from the Wrestling Revival podcast. Of course, to your far left, living rent-free in your head. I know one tenant with that one in the past couple of days. Definitely check that out from Mr. Cyber Yeti. Of course, it's simply, you see it, hashtag Notorious approved from yours truly here, and the official Wrestling Revival t-shirt is there for you. All that you can pick up right now on the website bonfire.com/store/the Wrestling Revival. That's right, you can pick it up. Many different styles, even in hoodies, because it is approaching hoodie season. So be already ready for hoodie season and get your merchandise right now. So
Got that right.
Cyber, I mean, we got a lot to talk about, but I think WWE is one of those ones that needs to talk about this week, because not only did we have literally the tragic passing of not only Terry Funk last week, but literally 24 hours later, we had the passing of William Rotunda, otherwise known as The Fiend, and Bray Wyatt. Of course, myself, DJ Notorious, and Cyber Yeti, we both send our condolences to the Rotunda family. It is a heavy loss for not only the family, but also his friends and fans just like us. So rest in peace, William Rotunda. Okay.
I could tell you this, just with Bray Wyatt's passing, what hit me the most was the fact that he was my age. He was my age. And I'm like, that could happen to any of us. And I will admit, I'm a grown man. I actually shed some tears for this man because WWE did him wrong, the way that they treated him toward the end, but he still made the best out of the situation, and he still created a good character, multiple good characters, and he was still able to do something with it, even with a certain McMahon trying to screw him over. But we are not going to go there right now. So we have another thing to talk about in the world of sports entertainment, and that is WWE's upcoming pay-per-view, Payback. So let's go ahead and just take a look at some of the matches that are currently announced already.
Okay, and we have here, it is going to be the tag team gold on the line, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, and of course Damian Priest. Wonder how this one's going to shape out because remember, Damian Priest still has the briefcase. Also, we have a match that was years in the making, but we finally get it this weekend. It is Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. We know Zoe Stark is somewhere not too far behind, but this should be a great matchup. Now, also on the card, of course, we have for that women's gold there, Rhea Ripley is going to be taking on Miss Raquel Rodriguez. This match, I mean, we thought it was going to happen. It's finally going to happen here this Saturday at Payback. And then, of course, the main event. We're going to be watching very closely here. Shinsuke Nakamura is challenging the drip god himself, Seth Rollins, for that World Heavyweight Championship. That one just might be a match of the year candidate. Now,
especially with the promo that Shinsuke Nakamura cut this past week on Raw, for crying out loud, specifically going into detail, I am coming for your back. This man is looking to hurt him. This is the first time since New Japan that we have seen some form of Shinsuke Nakamura where he is very diabolical. He's being very calculating in regards to how he's going to attack Seth Rollins. This, like DJ said, this has the potential to be a match of the year candidate. So only time will tell. We'll have to see this Saturday, but I can tell you this, a lot of people are going to be watching that normally wouldn't.
Definitely. Remember, people are watching because it is a premium live event.
It's on the bird. It's on the bird. So watch it.
It is on Peacock here in the States for anyone that may be outside of the US and Canada, but it is still on the WWE network if you go abroad in Europe and further out east. Now, just before anybody goes crazy thinking, hey, DJ, Cyber, there are other matches on the card. We get it. But you can tune into all of our predictions for the other matches this weekend on our social medias. Of course, Instagram, the Wrestling Revival Podcast, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, it would be TWRP_official. So you can check out the full predictions right there. We're not going to speak about who lost last week, but we'll get to that later. Let's go to the matches. Let's just start right there with the tag team match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going for, that team over there, Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Now, I was torn back and forth. Maybe you were doing the same, but I kind of see that Judgment Day walks out of here with the gold. And the reason why I say that is because, Kevin Owens is still not 100% after the injury he took a few weeks back. And I think just for storyline purposes, we get more with them holding the tag team gold. It sounds like something the other company might be doing, but it seems like it would actually work and bring more intrigue to not only the Judgment Day, but and that briefcase. So I'm going.
What's up?
Get your man.
All right.
First off, DJ, all I got to say is,
what the fuck?
Wow. Strong statement, sir.
Are you serious right now? You really think Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to take these titles off? Again, Finn Balor has a low-lying vendetta against Damian Priest right now, because right now he thinks Damian Priest screwed him over multiple times for the World Heavyweight title. Multiple times. Even though we could all see it clear as day that Damian Priest was trying to help him. But in Finn Balor's mind, it's starting to drive him crazy. It's starting to drive him crazy to the point to where he doesn't know if he can even trust Damian Priest anymore. The only person realistically holding those two together is Rhea Ripley. She has a match earlier that night. So I can tell you this much, she may not even be back. She may not even be ringside. So imagine her not being ringside. What do you think is going to happen if there's another miscue? There's not going to be anybody there to separate them, to put that buffer there. So I think what's going to wind up happening is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to take advantage of that. And they're going to wind up either two things will happen. Either there'll be so much going on that Finn Balor eats the pin, or Damian Priest is going to, or what's going to wind up happening is one or the other is going to wind up walking out and just saying, screw this.
I mean, that definitely can happen, but I just think we're going to, it brings more intrigue to it. You think that they can't coexist with each other, and then what happens? They win tag team gold.
That is true. That is another chance, but I honestly see it, becoming a complete disaster. If Rhea Ripley's not out there, it's going to be a disaster. If she is, then I think they could win it. It's just going to depend on if they come out solo or if they come out with Rhea Ripley.
That is true. I do think you might have Rhea Ripley opening the show with her match against Raquel Rodriguez just to set up enough time for her to get some rest and be involved in the tag team match.
That is true.
Could happen, but as you can see here, a Yankee and Astro don't agree all the time. So Cyber Yeti is going for Owens and Zayn, and meanwhile here in New York, I'm rolling with the Judgment Day. So let's see what happens with that. But since we are talking about Rhea Ripley, let's talk about her championship match. She's defending the title against Raquel Rodriguez. Now, at first, I thought there was maybe just a little bit of hope, just a little bit, that Raquel can walk out of there with the gold. I'm shutting that down right now. Rhea is going to retain. It will be a good match, but Rhea is going to retain this title easily. Maybe there might be a return match later on, maybe going into towards a Raw or maybe even Survivor Series. But yeah, I just don't. I don't see Raquel winning, at least not yet.
Yeah, this is a situation where Yankee and an Astro will actually agree. I agree. Rhea Ripley's going to wind up winning this match, and to be honest, it's probably going to be clean. It's not going to be dirty. It's going to be clean because right now, Rhea Ripley is probably one of the hottest female wrestlers going right now in WWE, just because of everything with Judgment Day, everything, the storyline with Dominic Mysterio, the fact that the crowd absolutely loves her and they despise Dominic. Just with all that going on, there is no way that Raquel Rodriguez is going to beat her. It wouldn't make sense because you would be dampening someone that's extremely hot right now. So it would be stupid. So yes, a Yankee and an Astro agree. Rhea Ripley's gonna retain her title.
So we're in agreement with that one there. But let's stick with the ladies with this one here because we got a match that probably was at least a decade's worth in the making here. We have Trish Stratus, which Zoe Stark will be right by her side, going up against Becky Lynch. Now, this match was supposed to happen at SummerSlam. We know the reason why it didn't. As Triple H has said during his press conference, it would have just been too long. So we finally got it. I think it might be just a little bit too late as far as interest-wise, but Becky Lynch is going to win this here. Trish Stratus has no reason whatsoever winning this match whatsoever. So I'm going with Becky Lynch here. Easily said and done. Win.
Okay. Well, I have to say I agree about 50%. Here's my reason why. Okay. I feel like they're going to try to figure out a way to get more eyes on it, and they're going to try to figure out a way to reignite the interest of these two going against each other. Now, how many matches, just to kind of remind everybody, how many matches has Becky and Trish had so far? It's been a couple already. It's been at least 3, I think, 2 or 3.
Yes.
So there's 2 things that could possibly happen. Becky Lynch could finally beat her clean, and then that would pretty much right.
Okay. Well, if that actually writes her off, then definitely we should see what happens with that. But
okay, hold on, my bad. That don't know what the hell happened there. Anyway, continuing what I was saying. The first option is Becky finally gets the big win clean, and that ends the rivalry between her and Trish. Or they could stretch it out. What's the next pay-per-view after this one? It would be Survivor Series, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so the other option would be to have either Trish Stratus win dirty or Becky win dirty to turn it into a final match at Survivor Series, and not just any match. I think they could stretch this into a women's Survivor Series match.
You know what? Now that you said it, I was really thinking about that. We might get the last of a singles match between the two ladies here, but I think it would set up a women's traditional Survivor Series matchup. You know, you got Trish, Zoe, and probably 3 others going up against Becky and a few others. Maybe, just maybe, Bianca Belair might be involved with it. Who knows?
Exactly. Now, that's what I think might wind up happening. But if Becky wins clean, then that's pretty much going to end the rivalry, and there would be no point of having the traditional Survivor Series match between Team Becky and Team Trish. Now, what would be interesting, bring back some of the women alumni to be on Trish's team. Talking Lita, talking the Bellas, which I know they're literally probably one phone call away, even though they've copyrighted new names and everything else. I bet you anything they're still a phone call away. They would be looking for a payday anytime. So I mean, just saying, I mean, that could definitely be an option. The past versus the current. I mean, Becky Lynch, we already know who she'd probably get. She'd probably get Charlotte Flair, probably pull in, huh?
Bailey might be one of them as well.
Bailey, pull Damage Control into it. That would make it an even 5. And then the alumni would just need to get one more person, which would be Zoe Starks. So I mean, Triple H, we're literally booking this shit for you right now. If you are paying attention, which I know you are, because you be copywriting our shit, even though we change it up enough for you not to, we know you're watching. So quit your shit, get in our inbox, pay us, and let us do our thing. Let us do our thing. We'll help you out. And you know, we all make some money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
War games, yeah.
By the way, the men's would be a War Games match. Has to be. Anyway, moving on.
All right. So let's move on now to, you know, a big match. I mean, it's pretty big. It is for the World Heavyweight title. Shinsuke Nakamura going up against the champion, the Drip God. If it's hot on the streets, he's wearing it on Raw. We're talking about Seth freaking Rollins. Now, we said on the last episode that, you know, there is a serious chance Shinsuke Nakamura can come out and win the title. I'm sticking with that there. I'm going with Shinsuke here. This is going to be the talk Saturday night coming from Pittsburgh. It's going to be Shinsuke being the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I know it's going to piss off a lot of the Drip Gods and everything like that and all the Seth fans. Don't get me wrong, he's had a good run, but this will definitely bring some fresh eyes to it because no one will be expecting Shinsuke to be walking out with the title. So I got Shinsuke. I kind of have a feeling what Cyber's going to go, though.
Well, I know it's all bullshit. Whatever he says now, you know it wasn't his true actions then. You know, he's time enough to think about it. Or the reaction of the public that's kind of changed his perspective of it.
Okay, so with that in mind, here's the thing. I do kind of agree with DJ in regards to Shinsuke Nakamura being the one everybody talks about and him walking away with the title. The only way I see that happening is if his back injuries are legitimate enough that he needs to go away. Now, based off of what Shinsuke Nakamura said, he's been wrestling with it for years. And I mean, the great thing about Seth Rollins is also his biggest weakness too, is he is good at selling everything. So we don't know if he's actually really in that much pain or if it's just all a work. Now, if it isn't a work, most definitely Shinsuke Nakamura wins, takes the title off of him, and then goes away for 6 months. I would say maybe come back Royal Rumble. It depends if he has to have surgery or not. If he has surgery, just put him on the shelf for the foreseeable future for a while. But if it's just more of a rehab thing, a pain management thing, then I could see Royal Rumble being a surprise entrant to come back. So we're looking at September, October, November, December. We're looking at 4 months if he stays away till like the day of the Rumble. We're looking at 4 months. So, I mean, it is a possibility. I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura win it. But also, too, a part of me is like, if Seth isn't really injured or if it's not that bad, he'll retain. So we'll have to see. But also, too, that means if Shinsuke wins, Hunter, you have got to let him have some creative control. Let him bring back some of his old school stuff from New Japan. Let him be the Shinsuke Nakamura he was then. Not the shell of a person that Vince McMahon tried to make on the main roster. Give him the run that he deserves when he won the Royal Rumble. You know, let him do his thing. So,
I mean, that will definitely be good. So right now, I'm putting you in the spot. Bottom of the ninth, you got to steal a couple of pitches. I'm banging on it 3 times for your changeup. Who you got, Seth or Shinsuke?
Okay, I'm gonna knock. I'm swinging for the fences. I'm gonna go ahead and go Shinsuke Nakamura for the win.
Okay, so wow, we actually are agreeing. So that's really good there.
I'm gonna go with Shinsuke for the win.
So we're agreeing on much of the pay-per-view, at least the top 4. Don't worry, guys. There are more matches for Payback. It's not just 4, but definitely this weekend before the pay-per-view, and you watch it on Peacock or WWE Network if you're abroad. Take a look at our social media. We will have predictions for every single match coming up this Saturday. So, but in the big one, we're both going for Shinsuke. Tune in next week to see if we actually get it right. But you know something? It's time. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. I gotten a lot of calls during the week. People want to talk all in. And boy, oh boy, was it a show from Wembley Stadium. So much to discuss, so let's definitely get into it now. 81,033 fans were in attendance there at Wembley Stadium this past Sunday. The biggest draw, without a shadow of a doubt, for a company that is not even 5 years old.
And you know me, guys, I'm kind of in the middle of the road kind of guy. I will talk shit about either company if I think they screwed something up. I don't sugarcoat it for WWE or for AEW. I will say 81,000 purchased tickets and then about 9,000 given away as comp tickets. So looking at about 90,000. That is a big deal for a company under 10 years old. I am not going to front about it. It was good for them. I'm happy for it because you know what? I'm not one of these stands that's going to say, "Oh, I'm pro WWE, I'm anti AEW," and vice versa. No, if they're putting on good shit, I'm going to watch it. That's how it is. If it's good, I'm going to watch it. And this card, it was pretty good. I will admit, I gave it a solid A-. There were some things that I didn't really like. But there was way more good than there was bad. So just a quick rundown here. MJF and Adam Cole defeated Aussie Open for the ROH Tag Team Championships at 0 Hour. I will say this. I really wasn't expecting them to actually win the titles. I thought maybe it was just going to be like to ultimately get into the feud to where they ultimately split MJF and Adam Cole. But I was pleasantly surprised. And also we'll get into the end of it, what happened at the end after the main event when we get there. Hook defeated Jack Perry for the FTW Championship. I think the reason they made this decision is because they didn't want to get rid of the title quite yet. So I'm surprised, but I'm kind of not. So it was a pretty good match, though. CM Punk defeated Samoa Joe for the Real World's Championship.
Yes, and
I
everybody
feel like
that's
Samoa Joe, I have no problem with him. I have the most respect for him. I wouldn't have been as cool as he was when WWE put him on the commentator table. To me, in all honesty, I would have given him a great big and walked out. But props to him for sticking around. But I can't stand CM Punk because he's a bitch. What was that sign that they saw at All In? It was a CM Punk. It was based off of his song.
cult of personality.
Uh-huh. Yeah, something about him
there.
being a bitch or something. It was hilarious. I can't remember it exactly, but it was hilarious. Bullet Club Gold defeated Bullet Club Elite. I think this was a good choice off of Tony Khan. This was a good choice because come on, Bullet Club Elite. How long have they been out of the Bullet Club and they're trying to still call themselves Bullet Club? Or
I honestly can't say it's Bullet Club. It's just
it's more the Golden Elite. It's
the
more
Golden
the Golden
Elite.
Elite because
Yes,
of
they are the
Ibushi
Golden Elite.
and Omega. But anyway, good move on Tony Khan for letting Bullet Club Gold win. This is going to put momentum behind the Guns and Juice Robinson and Jay White. So I honestly think that this is going to help them in the long run. This is going to push them further up the roster to give them opportunities and other things down the road. Dear God, please take those belts off the Acclaim. They look like trash. Anyway, moving on. FTR defeated the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This is going to be a continued rivalry after this match because the way the Young Bucks treated FTR after the bout was over. They didn't shake hands, they didn't hug like they normally do. The Elite just was like, you know what, screw you. And they walked out. To be honest, I think it has something to do with what happened, what's going on in the back with CM Punk and the Elite and everything else. I honestly think there's real hostility between FTR and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega with everything going on there. So I think that's piling on, and I think they're gonna use it, turn it into a new rivalry angle for FTR and the Young Bucks, which it would be fun to see because they actually know how to put on good matches. So I would definitely like to see that.
They do know how to put on good matches there. Let me just
go ahead.
put my 2 cents on some of these matches here. I really thought Aussie Open was going to win during 0 Hour. I really thought they were, but I did say if they do win, what was going to happen later on that night. We'll get to that in just a second. Mm-hmm. Hook. Now, listen here. Like, I'm just going to say this right now. Full screen me, please. I need the full for this one here. Okay. Shout outs to New York. Okay. I'm going to say this a lot during the show today. But shout outs to New York.
That's the only thing he can
Red
say.
Hook, Brooklyn, New York. That's right. I'm talking about Hook, Mr. 730 himself, going into London and not only getting the belt back, but doing it in grand fashion on 0 Hour by beating up on Jack Perry. Definitely love to see it. It was a great match. I think, honestly, probably the best match for Hook so far in his AEW run. You do see the improvements in his matches as it goes longer and longer, more outside moves there. The nice spot there on the English limousine, we'll use that word for it. That was a good one, and that glass kind of started some trouble. We'll talk about that later, but that was a good match. Now, moving on to the start of the show, you were talking about CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Okay. I'm going to let y'all know this now. If you don't know about me, DJ Notorious, you know I cannot stand Phil Brooks. He is a guy that will never change his spots. He's done it in WWE. He's done it in UFC. He's done it in AEW once before, and guess what? He's doing it again. So, the reason why for that match and how it looked is because we honestly found out more after. CM Punk was mad when he got off the airplane coming into London. For some strange reason, he could not get his car, didn't have a car waiting for him. He was upset that he had to literally take the train and be helped by countrymen to get him to his hotel. So he's already mad to start. Then we get to the match. Hook does what he does during 0 Hour. CM Punk feels, nobody should talk about me. I'm Phillip Brooks. Well, that started with that. Got so bad that a fight broke out in the gorilla position. That's like unholy water at that point. You're not supposed to do that. CM Punk cried so much that he threatened to quit. That just can't happen. That's why a lot of times you saw during the match, Samoa Joe was giving the jerk off thing here and having fun with the fans. That wasn't a coincidence. That was a shot towards you know who. But nevertheless, we knew CM Punk was going to win that match, so that happened with no problem. Now, FTR and the Bucks. Honestly, probably will go down as the two greatest tag teams of the past decade. They just know how to put on a good match regardless. That was just simply an awesome match to see. But I do like the little things. I know I'm probably not the only one, but the little things. The entrance for the Young Bucks, giving props to Freddie Mercury of Queen, the whole outfit that he wore on his very last performance, his most famous performance. A very nice move there by AEW. Definitely like that. And the whole match from top to bottom was good. So definitely liked those. But as we get into more of the show, we literally had, quite honestly, one of the best, and we were talking about it last week, Cyber. We were really talking about this, where it was a match we thought wasn't going to be good, but turned into a 5-on-5, and then honestly tore the house down. Of course, Stadium Stampede. I'm going to give these two men their flowers right now before we continue.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy. Some people don't like him. Some people think he's had too long of a run. But that man put on a show.
Yeah, he really did.
Really, really did. So let's start giving our flowers to Orange Cassidy. And then also, I'm sorry, but shout out New York's own, Yonkers' own, Eddie freaking Kingston. Not only just taking over the whole match and probably making AEW more money with another shirt, but coming out there wearing the New York Knicks Patrick Ewing, that was just classic. That will go down in history. Didn't know how they was going to do that whole match with Wembley being so huge, but they made it work. Even had Sue involved in the match, so that was funny in itself too. It had its funny moments. It had its real crazy, can't believe that just happened moments. And then you also had the return of Pride and Powerful. So you got everything you wanted from this match.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I agree. I can't believe I'm saying this because Orange Cassidy, sometimes his character just gets under my skin really bad, and I just freaking hate it. But I will give him credit. That match, that Stadium Stampede match, he actually did really good. He had some good spots. And I mean, you actually saw something other than his whatever demeanor come out of him.
Yeah,
he needs to do that more. He needs to do that more. He needs to be the aggressor in these matches and actually show, okay, yeah, I have my whatever demeanor, but when it comes down to it, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. You know?
Actually what was needed from him. And I think now more people will start jumping on the Orange Cassidy train. Just let it be known I was here first. Just letting you know I was here.
You're looking for any train to jump on right now.
What? No, I'm not that. No, I'm not that. I don't look like, one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a headband on. But let's get back to what we're talking about here. Being all in. So, of course, after the Stadium Stampede, we had another big moment. And one of those things, like I was talking earlier, that just the little things will make you remember an event even more. We had the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Women's title. Saraya, not coming out to a regular entrance, but coming out to the worldwide known We Will Rock You with her family in tow, set the stage that you knew a big moment was going to happen. Classy move from AEW, giving her that time to have her family there. Because, in all honesty, I think it's the first time we've seen her family since she's joined AEW.
Well, to be honest, she's been stateside so long after she joined, you know, the WWE and everything else. I mean, she's had probably very little time to actually go home to spend time with her family. So being able to do this in the UK at home and actually have all her family there like that was huge for her. So yeah, big props to AEW for giving her that moment, but also you kind of gave away the ending of the match with that moment too.
You kind of did. I think all the entrances were good. Even Toni Storm with the whole Marilyn Monroe thing, it really showed off now. So I think we're going to get a lot more from that with her. That was good. Britt Baker, of course, it's Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. Now, I know what some people are going to say. The match was just a tad bit too short. It only ran just under 9 minutes. But I felt personally it did its job. I felt it ran at the just enough spot. Like, you got what you wanted. It told the story. You got your pinfall. Everybody enjoyed it. Let's not nitpick too much, okay? But it was a good fatal four-way match in my opinion.
The only way I would have seen the match going longer is if it was just Saraya and God damn, I always forget her name.
Cheetah?
Yes. If it was just them one-on-one in a stipulation match, then I could have seen it going like 15 minutes. But with it being a four-way match, you know, it definitely served its purpose. It had its high spots, and it gave Saraya the big moment at the end. So, I mean, it did its job. It was entertaining, and you know, in my eyes, the right person won in the situation.
Definitely did. Now we just have to see how it's going to work with the rest of it. You know, we got All Out coming up next week, and then Grand Slam is not too far around the corner. So we should see how that works.
Yes,
but then we got, you know, we were there in Wembley. We were all watching. It was time for the coffin match. Sting, who seems to be 275 years old, but still can move in the ring like he's 20, with Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Now, I gotta say here, and I don't know, just me might be showing a little bias, but whatever. I did not think Swerve Strickland was going to get that much of a rousing applause of sorts coming out to the ring. He definitely got a lot.
Didn't he spend some extended time in UK before joining NXT? Didn't he do like either Defy or something? No, not Defy.
Yeah. I know he definitely was down with Defy because of, you know, the Seattle ties to that.
Yeah.
But him being over there in England and to have everybody going and literally 81,000 screaming whose house, so I was not expecting that, especially as he's the heel going into this match. So that was another good thing. Shows that Swerve is watched by everyone all across the world.
He is respected by everyone around the world. Exactly.
Yes. The match did its job. I just think that's simply what it was. It did its job. Do I want to see Sting doing more of these matches? No, I think it's time to slowly slow down with it. There was a couple of spots there I was like, okay, make sure the mechs are on standby. But nonetheless, Sting got through another crazy match at what is he, 70 at this point?
He's close to.
Or close to? Yeah, so
he needs to ride away in the sunset already. He needs to either pass the torch to Darby and let Darby actually start doing stuff on his own, or he just needs to fade out. That's ultimately what needs to happen. Because if not, he's going to wind up hurting himself. And I would hate to see that for him. After being around for so long, being around in the 80s, being part of the Monday Night Wars in the 90s and early 2000s, and then showing up in WWE mid 2000s, having the programming he had with Triple H and everybody over there, and then showing up in AEW, you know, 2020, and you know, doing the matches he's done so far. I mean, dude, your body can only take so much. I mean, I'm surprised he's not hurting as bad as Undertaker was when he did his last match with AJ Styles, and that one was cinematic match. So he hardly did anything. So
and that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it did what it needed to do. It's prolonging this now into what we're going to get All Out with Darby. So I think in that regard only, it did its job. But I would not mind like seeing Swerve going after a belt pretty soon, because I think he's ready to make that next step. Of course, with the embassy behind him, maybe going after the international again, or even the TNT championship. Either way, I think it's almost time for us to say Swerve deserves some gold around his waist pretty soon.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so the next match that we have here is we have Will Ospreay defeating Chris Jericho. Thank you, God. Tony Khan actually did this one right, because I swear to God, if Chris Jericho would have won, singing himself to the ring, how conceited can you be by singing your own intro song and walking out to the ring?
Okay, I just gotta say this here. I am not the biggest fan of Le Champion, whatever he wants to call himself.
The Wizard.
I will never call that man the Wizard for obvious reasons. But okay, we're going to just back up a little bit easy on him, Cyber. Like, remember, this is All In. This is 81,000. This is pretty much the biggest he's ever played against in probably 20 years. You knew he was going to come out with Fozzy. You knew that. That was all tied into it, the whole weekend and everything. Who else was going to come out and sing his song? Who? I mean, also, once again, the little things, paying homage to Freddie Mercury before actually coming out with his entrance, also a good thing. The jacket that he was wearing, also bringing Creed to Freddie Mercury. Exactly. So it was a good thing. But who else were you going to get? Who was you going to get? Celine Dion? Like, who are you going to get to sing this man's song? So,
well,
if you don't want to pay the fee,
probably sing Titanic just to see him freaking flounder and shit.
I think we all would have floundered and you know something? Since you said that, I think everybody would have just grabbed the person next to them and been swaying back and forth as Celine Dion sang that song and Chris Jericho coming to the ring. You know that would have happened. That would have been a moment.
I know.
I
know. The UK fan base is crazy, man. We love them to death, but man, they some crazy fools.
Yes. Crazy in a good way in this sense.
Yes.
But personally, I would say if I had to nitpick at anything about this night, it was this match. This match did not live up to the hype. It did not. Now, I know what some people are going to say. You know, they had a match the night before. You know, Ospreay was involved in, Rev Pro. I get it. But this is All In. This was like literally a Super Bowl for AEW. That's what it looks like it's turning into. And for that to be a match, it felt like a borderline Dynamite match.
It felt like a borderline I could have gone and taken a piss match.
You know what? I've heard from a lot of people saying that was their quote-unquote piss break during the night. But the next match here, lead me into this one because I was thoroughly pissed off. And I'm talking about the AEW Trios Championship. We had the Acclaim with badass Billy Gunn because, it wasn't daddy ass, it was badass back in the 90s, Billy Gunn, going up against, quite honestly, the best trio champions we've had. I know it's not a long reign, but still the House of Black. Now, before we get into what the match was, very big kudos to the House of Black paying homage to William Rotunda with simply sitting the lantern right in front of the entrance, paying odes to him because the lights are already off already. So the Fireflies, quote unquote, were out there as House of Black always makes their entrance. But that was a really nice touch from Buddy, Malachi, and Brody King, and also Julia Hart. But now let's get to the match. Never in the history of, I'm not going to say the word, but how do you have the House of Black lose the Trios title to, honestly, let's just say it, a comedy act? I said it. It is what it is. A comedy act. The Acclaim, honestly, maybe earlier in the year were real popular. Not right now. Just simply not right now. And having badass, daddy ass, he's somebody daddy. But just to get a last run, it just didn't make sense to me. It thoroughly pissed me off because I'm a card-carrying member of the House of Black. And, okay, let's say this too. Weird moment of the night, you gave the scissors to Julia Hart? That was a little weird. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. I know I wasn't the only one that thought it, but it was just a little weird.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. Okay, whenever you see me take my hat off, it's because I'm getting that frustrated with the shit. Okay, so here's my thing. How are you going to have a group that has built themselves to be so dominant in the trios division and have them lose to a group like the Acclaim? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of the Acclaim. I like them. I think they're great. I think they get good spots when they get an opportunity, and they bring in a lot of comedic relief, especially coming off of like a serious match, and you have them come in after or before. It lightens the mood and gets them ready for what's coming next. But to have them win over the House of Black. Now, if it was like a 3-way match, like House of Black, Acclaimed, and let's say Death Triangle, let's say Pac is back. Those 3 groups. You have like Pac eat the pin. I hate to say that because I'm a huge fan of his too. He eats the pin from the Acclaim, and that's how House of Black loses. That still keeps them looking strong though. So they can come back quick with it and take them back. But for them to lose clean to the Acclaim, I'm sorry. I cannot get behind that. I understand if Tony Khan wants to move the House of Black into new waters, for example, Buddy and Brody going for the tag titles, and then Malachi Black going for the AEW title, getting into a feud with MJF. Great, perfect, wonderful. I love the idea. But why? Exactly. Aaron King, you are absolutely correct. That needs to be Malachi's next focus. It has to be MJF. Out of everybody, that's really the only person that should logically be focusing on him right now. Because Adam Cole, he already had his chance. It's gone. He's now a friend of MJF. It's his best friend, apparently. So Malachi Black is the only logical person. I mean, I'm seriously doubt you're going to bring Kenny Omega back to do that. Oh, don't let me say that shit, because then Tony Khan's going to get the stupid idea in his head to do it again. And I swear to God,
I don't think you have to worry about
Jacksonville, and I will go and kick his ass if he does that shit.
We don't have to worry about that. I don't think the way it's going right now and how All Out is setting up, I don't think we need to know that. Now, just like Cyber said, it was absolutely crazy. I think that's probably the one thing we both did not agree with from All In this past week, but let's see what they do with it. Now, Cyber, I mean, if you were under a rock for the past like 96 hours and you didn't know MJF retained his title, Cyber told you. He retained his title, came back over here to the States as still the AEW champion and, of course, one half of the ROH championship. But that brings us to Dynamite tonight, because now it was the first show back from All In, and it was a little bit different than originally advertised because due to Mother Nature, that's right, Mother Nature, and some illnesses going around the locker room, plans had to be changed for Dynamite, and couldn't really tell somewhat, so that's maybe a good job by them.
But also, too, you remember if y'all been living under a rock too, what Tony Khan said to the wrestlers, if they wanted to be off tonight's show so they could go to Bray Wyatt's funeral, he was allowing them to, and he said he will rewrite the show if necessary. So if this is the product he came up with people missing to go to his funeral, it was actually a good show. It was a really good show.
It definitely was. Some just a couple of major points from it. We now know who is going to be taking on for the International Championship at All Out. That will now be Jon Moxley, and he's going up against Orange Cassidy. The reason why, because he beat Penta El Zero Mero earlier tonight in the main event, which was a pretty good match.
You know what I'm going to say about the Blackpool Club, right?
Well, you know what? I think I know what you're going to say, because if we think about it here, they took the L in Stadium Stampede. Willie Yuta got his ass whooped by Eddie Kingston tonight, also on Dynamite. And I'm just going out on a limb here. I don't think Moxley is even going to win come All Out. So what would that mean for? That's going to make some stands upset. Ooh.
Oh, man, I'm sure they're missing William Regal right about now.
Man, just, I could honestly say this right now. Here it is, the end of August. We're about to be fall. Kids go back to school. Hallelujah. But can we honestly say one group in 2023 that literally fell from the top of the charts to the bottom in less than a year? It has to be the Blackpool Combat Club. Has to be. Just literally has to be. They just really have just turned into glorified jobbers. Look at tonight. Mm-hmm. Willie Yuta got thrown around for about 10 to 12 minutes, and Eddie Kingston had fun. Claudio, all he did tonight was literally pick up Yuta and go about his business. Moxley, even though beating Commander, setting up for what's going to be at All Out, they're not the same anymore.
No, they're not.
They're not the same.
Mm-mm.
That was a team that honestly felt as powerful as any other faction in AEW. And now, just like we said, they just seem to be the Blackpool Jobbers. You know we're going to catch some flack for that, right? You know that.
I don't give a shit. The stands can come after me all they want. They go fuck a goat. Maybe they'll actually feel the joy of actually winning by doing that because it's a goat. So, maybe they'll feel better about themselves afterwards. Maybe release some pent-up tension. Like I said, they can go fuck a goat as far as I'm concerned. They can think all the hell of what they want.
We're just waiting for it.
All right. And I've been waiting.
Literally, that's how we feel. We're just waiting for anybody. Stop it! Stop it! Don't shoot that little motherfucker no more! Now, real quickly, that right there, one who just shot that little P shot, the short one, who that look like?
Oh, shit. God.
What the fuck?
Things that make you go, word to Arsenio Hall. But one of the big points from tonight's Dynamite was actually the continuation of the Jericho and Sammy Guevara situation. Now, Cyber, you've been number one steadfast of what the hell is going on here. And now I think we can see through the muddy waters and see exactly what's going to happen. Now, as it happened on Dynamite tonight, they're going to be, quote unquote, joining back, or Jericho forcing them to join back as, the sex gods, and going after the AEW World Championships. Now, let's just do dates here. It's the end of August. What's the next big event for AEW?
Grand Slam.
That'll be Grand Slam after this weekend. So I see we're going to get Sammy versus Jericho either at Grand Slam or
Revolution.
Full Gear.
Full Gear. That's right. Yeah.
One or the other. It's happening. Don Calliston put his 2 cents in, so we know it's coming. Remember, guys, his wife, his legit wife, is pregnant, is expecting in a few months. I don't see Sammy on television by the end of the year. So this will have to be something very quickly. 1, 2, 3, done. And then Sammy goes away for a while and probably comes back as the biggest face on the AEW roster.
You really think they'll take the titles off FTR just to give them to Jericho and Guevara?
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not.
I was getting ready to say no way in hell.
Absolutely not. And honestly, if they actually do that, I'm going to say that.
Fuck you.
All I got to say is Sammy Guevara needs to quit being Jericho's little bitch. Flat out. He needs to quit being and actually do for himself. Because all Chris Jericho is doing right now is
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
he's talking shit. And that's all he's doing. He's putting bullshit in Guevara's ear just to keep him going. And all I'm saying right now, all I'm saying to Tony Khan is,
What's up?
Get your man.
All right.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I see. I think personally, me as a big Sammy fan, I think it's going on a little bit too longer. I don't know if it's going to be his wife to literally slap him some sense. Hear what I'm saying? There, slapping him some sense. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do feel.
No, I get you.
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face. What? Slap.
But that would require Guevara. That would require Guevara to actually grow his balls back or get him out of Tay Conti's purse and actually putting them back on and actually doing something about Chris Jericho.
Wow. Okay.
He needs to beat the shit out of Jericho.
Okay. See.
No. Mm-mm. No. Hell no. No. I refuse. No.
You can say no all you want. It's still fact.
No. I get it, but we're gonna slow down on the Sammy Guevara slander here. Okay, we're gonna calm down on it. I think it's gonna happen.
Will talk slander about that man until he shows me otherwise. I'm actually not even gonna call him a man right now. I'm gonna call him a man child, and he needs to freaking do something about Chris Jericho and quit being his little bag bitch.
Okay, so all this week we're just calling people not men this week. That's what we're doing. We just call them men pussies all the time. That's what we're doing. I mean, what, we're demolition now. That's what we do.
I don't need to. I don't need a name like demolition or anything. I will wreck his shit without even trying.
I feel like I can't stand. Is that okay, Tony? Did I sit?
Put him down like big pussy. And look, speaking of pussy,
man.
This has to be Big Mike. This has to be Big Mike.
I mean, speak on it. I mean, just.
I'm sorry, what?
Speak on it. You know what? Matter of fact, hold on. This is what you do.
Get him. Oh, Green Jimmy the cricket suit wearing ass motherfucker. Get him. Oh, short Colin Powell haircut having ass motherfucker.
Get him.
Little Angela Davis mustache wearing ass motherfucker.
Get him.
Little Richard Pryor shortcut fade having around the side wearing motherfucker. Little Sammy Davis Award Junior Afro haircut having ass motherfucker.
Get him.
Dynamite Disco Danny demonstrating.
Get him.
Don Cornelius with a haircut.
Mike, it's always good to see you and talk shit. So now you can go fuck yourself. Bye-bye.
Jesus. All right. But as we think about it here, we put Dynamite. We know it's leading into All Out. But real quick, before we get to All Out, what would be your official grade for All In that just took down in Wembley this Sunday?
I actually mentioned my grade earlier while we were talking about the matches, but I'll go ahead and say it again. Overall, like I said, congratulations to AEW. They did a great job with this pay-per-view. 90,000 with 81,000 paying and 9,000 in comps. Tony, this is probably one of the very few times you'll hear me say it, but congratulations. You actually did something right for the most part. I give you an A- for the show. That Will Ospreay Jericho match could have been better. And for the freaking love of God, man, please actually build something good coming out of this, because you shit the bed with the Acclaimed and House of Black. I'm pissed at you for actually letting House of Black lose after that tribute to Bray Wyatt they did. So, other than that, congratulations. It was a good show. A-.
I'm in agreement to a point, but I actually give them a full A. I'm not going to do the A plus 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 like other people. I'm not going to do that.
I was about to
them a
say,
straight A. I'm going to give
are
them
you
a
trying to
straight
be
A.
the person that likes to be all about them all the time, Mr. Meltzer, Dave Meltzer?
No. Because I'm sorry, I'm not an old Caucasian guy. That's just not me. I'm sorry. I just don't do that. But I will say an A, just a strong A from the match card. Which, let's be honest, when was there a last pay-per-view from any company, not just AEW, WWE, Impact, New Japan, Rev Pro, Defy, that was good from the pre-show to the end? Pre-show to the end, they literally gave you about 5 hours of good, solid wrestling on a Sunday afternoon. That was, I say, just really good. It gave me WrestleMania 3 vibes with the ring and how everything was set up. It feels like this is going to be AEW's WrestleMania, which I think is a good move. Make everybody happy to go to England because they know what time it is. Now, yes, just like Cyber said, I am totally in disagreement of House of Black losing those belts. Especially, think about it. When's the last time a wrestler or a group loses a match, let alone a championship match, when they have new gear? Because the House of Black was looking very white that night.
Yes, they were.
So, and like you said, also giving the tribute also to William Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping the only way they can salvage it is that if Malachi goes after the world title with Buddy and Brody taking over the tag team scene, which I think would make House of Black even more dangerous in AEW.
Yes.
So that leads up to now. We got All Out. All Out is this upcoming Sunday. So yes, WWE has theirs, but it's All Out on Sunday, coming, of course, from the United Center in Chicago, home of those Bulls. Now, Miro will be taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, 2 men slapping meat. Pause, but this should be a good match. Miro, big return since coming back to AEW. Now, other matches on the card as of right now for the TBS Championship, Ruby Soho gets a shot, y'all. Ruby Soho goes up against Chris Statlander. I don't know. Maybe after Chris Statlander's match tonight, I might be thinking of my pick in just a few minutes. But besides that, for the TBS Championship, we have Kenny Omega. That's right, the grudge match. Hopefully it gets settled here. Going up against Takeshita. Of course, Don Callis will be at ringside. And also on the card, I mean, it's kind of obvious. We figured it out. It is the TNT Championship. Luchasaurus will be taking on Darby Allin. Yes, Luchasaurus is the champion. Not Chris Jericho, but Christian is holding on to the belt. Now, there are other matches that are on there as well. We get an 8-man tag match. FTR and the Young Bucks going up against Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson, Jay White, and of course, the Gun Club. So all those together, that should be a great 8-man tag match. Also announced tonight on Dynamite, Better Than You, Baby. Of course, Adam Cole and MJF will take on the winners of the AEW Rampage Tag Team Battle Royal match. So whoever wins on Friday takes on Cole and MJF. And of course, after the main event, AEW International Championship, it will be Orange Cassidy, who got the victory tonight, taking on Jon Moxley. Of course, this will be for the International Championship. Now, out of those matches, as we see closer and closer, we're getting to Sunday and we get a full card. What match in particular right now, Cyber, do you think can steal the show?
Well, currently, out of all the matches that we have seen, the lineups, I would probably have to say there's 2 potential matches I think will steal it. One is the Omega match. I honestly think that we may see a glimpse of Kenny Omega of old from New Japan. I mean, all the way down to the point of, him coming out in his anime gear that he used to wear in New Japan. I mean, we could definitely see that this weekend. Also, the other one, I could see it being Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho. I could actually see that being a potential match of the night also, because if this is the first time that Tony Khan is allowing Statlander to actually be on TV and actually compete and defend her title, I think she will definitely show out for this match. Will it be close? Yes. But I mean, we'll get into predictions here in a little bit, but I can definitely see it being a potential match of the night as well. There are a couple other ones that are on there, but the two that are leading out in front right now is the Omega and Statlander matches.
I would say probably my first one would be that Statlander match, because I do see a continuation of the story with the Outcast. Remember, we have not seen Saraya, we have not seen Tony Storm, and Ruby Soho going into this match. Yeah, I think one, if not both, would be interfering somehow, some way. And I think actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Ruby is walking out with that TBS championship. And the only reason why I say that is because to continue the storyline. See, I'm thinking of storylines progressing. You already have Saraya has her gold. Ruby tried to, talk to Tony Storm and say, listen, you're going to break her neck during that match at All In involving Saraya. Now, Ruby just goes for hers and goes after the belt. 2 out of the 3 have belts. 1 gets cast off. I think we all know who that would be. That's the only reason why I'm looking forward to that match, because there's some type of intrigue to it. Kenny, I see that one, especially it would be nice for him to bring back the old Kenny, especially, in Chicago. Like MJ came back, Kenny comes back, that type of feel. I would probably go with that, but if not, that Darby Luchasaurus match is going to tell a story.
That's a straight up David versus Goliath match in my eyes.
It's going to tell a story. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say we're going to see somebody interfere and help him out, but I feel Darby walks out TNT champion, and some legitimacy is put back on that belt.
All I'm going to say is we're going to hear this. It's Sting! It's Sting! If Christian Cage starts messing around.
I don't even think it's going to be Sting. I think it's going to be somebody else that comes to the help of Darby Allin. Don't even say it, because I see the look on your face, so I know who you're thinking I'm thinking. Somebody else is going to interfere and is going to help Darby get that belt.
And it's going to be rated R for Revival.
You see what I'm throwing out there. If you guys can't catch it, if you know, you know. But that's what I feel. He would be the number 1 person on that list. Secondary pick, which will kind of fit the storyline as well. I would just say now AR Fox actually helping out Darby Allin, because they do have more of a personal story than just being in AEW. But definitely rated R for Revival is numero uno on that list. So,
it looks like, just kind of backtracking here real quick. It looks like a couple more matches were added to Payback. It looks like the other ones were LA Knight and The Miz.
Yeah.
A US title rematch between Austin Theory and Rey Mysterio. And then Jason Waller versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. And of course, we will be having all those predictions Saturday leading up.
It just popped up on my socials. That's the other reason why I kind of detoured on that. But anyway, God, do we want to go ahead and just run down our predictions now? We can just go ahead and run them. All right. So
let's just run them.
Let's
just run them.
All right. Let's go ahead and throw it back up there. All right. So let's see who. Okay. So first up, come on.
First up, of course, is Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro. 2 guys that honestly need the win in my eyes, but I'm going with Miro here.
Again, an Astro agree. I'm also going with Miro on this one.
Okay, so both in agreement there. Now, TBS Championship, I think we definitely disagree here. I'm going for Ruby Soho, and I could say Cyber is going for the champion, Statlander.
Got to go with the cakes.
We ain't talking about Duncan Hines either. Okay, Kenny Omega versus Takeshita. I think we're gonna get the old Kenny back, just like MJ came back and wearing the 4-5. I got Omega.
Got Omega as well. That was going to be a really good match if he comes back old school New Japan.
And TNT Championship, I see Darby walking out what was pretty much rightfully his, the TNT Championship, beating on Luchasaurus.
And I agree with that as well. And I have a feeling this is going to be rated R for Revival.
If you know, you know.
And moving on to the other half that we currently have right now, FTR and the Young Bucks versus Bullet Club Gold. I am currently leaning toward Bullet Club Gold because they're the ones that need the win most. And secondly, I have a feeling we're going to have a split between the FTR and the Bucks.
I'm also going Bullet Club Gold on that one. Now we got here for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. The winners of the Battle Royal, let's just be honest, it's going to be a rematch. It's going to be Aussie Open going up against Cole and MJF. I'm going to lean with MJF and Cole.
I agree with that. We've got Orange Cassidy and going up against Jon Moxley. Sorry, the Blackpool Jobbers are going to lose again. Orange Cassidy is going to retain.
I mean, I just can't see how they job so much and then they actually turn around and give the belt to Moxley. Moxley needs a vacation. I'm talking about a good 90-day vacation.
I'm talking more than 90 days. Give him like 6 months. Let him actually heal. Let him relax. Let him be at home with his kid and his wife. Let him relax.
That would be good. But also in that match, I'm going with Orange Cassidy there. Orange Cassidy will retain the title. Now, of course, when anything more adds up to these matches, we'll let you know. So you must be following our socials at The Wrestling Revival on Instagram and, of course, on X, y'all know, formerly known as Twitter, TWRP_official. If you're following those, you'll always be notified of anything that's going on in the wrestling world. We got you covered. So definitely look forward to those. But it would not be a show if we did not talk about this. Unfortunately, in conversations I have with someone, also Cyber, we usually say death comes in threes. And it proved itself yet again, because not only did we lose Terry Funk, William Rotunda, a.k.a. The Fiend, and Bray Wyatt, we also lost this man this past weekend.
Bob Barker reminding you, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
And just like that, he did say goodbye. Of course, we know him from being the original host of The Price is Right. That's right. You remember watching that if you were home from school playing sick on CBS during the week.
Sitting there with your grandma watching The Price is Right, trying to guess what the price is, and always guessing 1 penny because you know you had a good chance of winning.
Exactly. So we say this all with smiles, but rest in peace to Bob Barker.
He did was 99 years old, and he was literally a week away from turning 100.
He was so close to 100. It kind of gave me Betty White vibes when I heard about it. I was like, here we go again with the 99 Club.
Being a friend.
Travel down the world and back again. It's true, and he is a pal and a confidant.
I mean, yes, sir.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of mornings watching The Price is Right, being a little kid or playing hooky, like I said, from school, you just had to watch that. That and Jerry Springer were the two that you were watching if you were home from school.
And he's already gone too. God
yes. Damn. So they're having a good morning TV shows up there above. So rest in peace to Bob Barker. And a lot of people don't know the reason why we said in threes, because Bob Barker was also involved with the WWE. So rest in peace to him.
Yes, sir. Now, before we wrap up the show for the evening, I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Ulti. Make sure you go to their website at ultisubs.com and pick yourself up some products. Use our discount code Revival Army to get 10% off. We just got ours. As you can see, we just got ours. I don't have my shaker at the moment. It's dirty in the kitchen, but the point is our unboxing and our taste review are coming up soon. Keep an eye out for those. Ulti, again, thank you so much for your sponsorship. We do appreciate it. And I can tell you this, I think this is going to be the start of a beautiful relationship. So,
I think it is too.
So, again, thank you so much, Ulti, for sponsoring us. We do appreciate it. And again, guys, it has been a very wild week of wrestling. We have lost two very influential wrestlers this week in Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. And we also lost someone who was a social icon in the TV world. We lost Bob Barker. So, I know each one hit us a little differently. I'll admit, I'm a grown ass man, 36 years old, same age as Bray Wyatt. And I was almost tears when I found out he passed, because such a good storyteller, such a great person. Hearing all the stories from not just WWE superstars, but from other superstars around the world, talking about how much respect, how much love and appreciation they had for this man. So to see all the memorial videos and everything else, it was a huge deal. And so we will continue to honor him. We'll continue to move on like he would want us to. And again, we send out our heartfelt condolences to JoJo and his kids. And again, we're going to push on. We're going to continue to make good content. We're going to continue to do what we do best, run a business, and continue to provide good content. So, guys, if you're looking for us, look at the socials. Look at X, formerly known as Twitter. Look at Instagram at The Wrestling Revival, at Twitter at, what is it again?
TWRP_official.
I'm going to have a hard-ass time remembering that. So, he's going to be the one to say all that shit all the time, just to let y'all know right now. Because, again, I don't remember shit like I used to. It sucks getting old. At least I'm not getting AARP paperwork yet.
But you're younger than me, but you can't remember. I don't know. We might have to see. Ulti might give you some memory issues or something. Help him out with that. So, Ulti, we want to be in contact with y'all this week. Help out Cyber Yeti there with his memory. But, of course, not only just with Ulti, but, of course, make sure you cop the merch. Of course, we got the official Wrestling Revival podcast T-shirt. We have Living Rent-Free in Your Head.
And I do that 24/7, 365, especially with the people that they know who I'm talking about.
That part. And of course, hashtag Notorious approved, because if it's not, then it's not worth it. Simple as that. Bonfire.com/store/The Wrestling Revival. Cop your merchandise now, because trust me, guys, hoodie season's around the corner. I saw the Weather Channel. It's coming.
It's going to be cold as hell this year, and I'm not looking forward to it. I live in Texas. I don't want that shit, but it looks like I'm getting it again. So it looks like I'm getting a new hoodie too. But also, too, great thing about living rent-free in people's heads, there's no block button.
And yeah, on that note, we're definitely going to be calling it a night right here. Of course, enjoy the wrestling this week. Make sure you pay attention this weekend to the socials for our predictions of not only WWE Payback, but also AEW All Out. And of course, tune in next week to see who walked out of those respective pay-per-views with a W or who took that L.
Catch y'all I have a feeling I know who's going to take an L. Had to do it one time for Bob Barker.
They always do. But yes, enjoy y'all wrestling week. Enjoy the wrestling this weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, so you already know what that means. A lot of wrestling in store. And tune into us next week as we'll tell you what's going on right here on the Wrestling Revival Podcast. I'm DJ Notorious. That is Mr. Cyber Yeti. Enjoy your week, y'all.